All right, moving along. Trying to get you to your next break. Our next speaker is Trevor Probert with Stop Waste. Trevor is a senior program lots of Stop Waste folks here. He's a senior program services specialist on Stop Waste community engagement team. He develops partnerships with urban farms in Alameda County through composting technical assistance, composting donations, soil carbon testing, and co-facilitating the SWEET program, Stop Waste Environmental Educator Training. Trevor also connects urban farms and cities to develop local compost hubs, community-based hosted sites distributing free compost on behalf of cities and providing public education to residents. Welcome, Trevor. There, got it.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Trevor Probert, and I work at Stop Waste doing community engagement work with composting. For folks unfamiliar, Stop Waste is a public agency serving Alameda County in support of waste reduction and resource use efficiency. And today I'm going to be sharing with you an exciting project, I think it's exciting, that we're calling Compost Hubs. And it's our effort to connect cities with urban farms to help retool their compost giveaway programs through community partnerships. So up front, I'll define the two Stop Waste projects that I'll be referring to. The first is Compost Hubs. A Compost Hub is a year-round compost giveaway program. It is hosted at an urban farm, and the compost is supplied by a partnered jurisdiction. And the second program is called the Stop Waste Environmental Educator Training, also known as SWEET. SWEET is a peer-to-peer training facilitated by Stop Waste. Over the years, it's changed topics many times, but this latest cohort in 2022 was a deep dive into composting. And we very intentionally invited urban farmers across the county to be a part of that cohort, knowing that we are working on compost hubs with urban farms. We wanted to provide an opportunity for urban farmers to really engage their knowledge of composting, as well as build a network of urban farmers serving the county. So just backing up a little bit, over the years, Stop Waste has a long history of providing public education and resources on composting, both making and using compost. And we've always relied on community partnerships to help expand that reach and help make sure that there are other voices in support of composting. And over the last 5 years in particular, we have really leaned into partnerships with urban farms for so many reasons. Urban farms are just amazing advocates for composting. They're practitioners of on-site composting. They use commercially produced compost that's generated through all the organics that we all support in diverting. Urban farms are also teachers. They host educational workshops at their sites. They have really deep networks of volunteers that are constantly learning through experience by working at their sites. But in addition to that, urban farms play a really important role in supporting the community food systems that serve residents in Alameda County. Urban farms aren't necessarily there to feed the majority of residents in the county, certainly, but they do a really good job of helping feed folks who need food the most. My colleagues at Stop Waste that work with food recovery organizations, they've shared how food banks and food pantries, they really have a demand for highly nutritious, fresh fruits and vegetables. And urban farms can play a role through, many of the farms that we work with, they grow produce and then donate those to food banks. The other thing that urban farms can do a really good job of is being really, they can be responsive and grow culturally relevant foods for the communities that need it. So we knew that we wanted to deepen our relationship with urban farms in the county in support of compost education. And so we developed some services that we could offer to urban farms to help get our foot in the door and meet farms. We've been providing on-site composting technical assistance. We've been providing compost donations, and we used to even do soil testing to see if we can measure a response to urban soils after compost applications. And so these activities were really about getting our foot in the door and getting an initial connection with urban farms. But our goal has always been to really make sure that we deepen those relationships. And so we've always had our eye out for additional opportunities to do that. And happens to be that our Compost Hub project and suite is exactly that. At the same time, Stop Waste has had a role in supporting jurisdictions within Alameda County develop strategies to help them meet their procurement targets for SB 1383. And just a reminder, in Alameda County, most jurisdictions will meet their SB 1383 procurement targets through procuring compost. And so in talking with a lot of city staff, they had been evaluating their compost giveaway programs and deciding whether or not they need to expand those programs in order to procure additional compost. But they had also shared some challenges with that. We'd heard that these compost giveaway events, they require a lot of staff time and resources in both organizing and managing the events. They produce thousands of thousands of disposable plastic bags that can often result in long car queues with people waiting hours for a few bags of compost. And if the traffic's bad enough, sometimes you might need the police department to help regulate traffic. Altogether, we were interested to see if we could help develop a different avenue to where we could support cities in expanding those activities, but maybe there's a way to do it through community partnerships. And so we developed this model called Compost Hubs with, it was really co-developed with our urban farm partners. And the idea was we could connect our farm partners with city staff, and they can come up with an arrangement where cities would provide those urban farms with an ongoing supply of compost so that they can take credit for the SB 1383. And then the urban farms could use that compost as much as needed for their on-site operations for growing produce. And then they'd also open their doors to the public, inviting residents to come visit their site and take compost for free for their own use at home or in their community gardens. And so we were really excited about this idea. We felt like it was a win-win partnership example. And so back in winter 2021, we began facilitating conversations between urban farm partners and city staff to see if this was something that we can do. In the picture here, we have myself working with Judy Erlinson from the city of Livermore and Brenda Kussler, the ED from Fertile Groundworks, where we're discussing the future of the Livermore Compost Hub. So we knew we needed to pilot a compost hub to gather some data that we could share with cities to kind of really make sure we can get them on board with this idea. And so we partnered with 2 urban farms in the city of Alameda, Farm to Market and the Bay Area Maker Farm. Their sites are neighboring, and so they work together on the project. And then Stop Waste and the city of Alameda provided compost donations to those sites, and then they opened up their doors to the public, calling themselves the Alameda Compost Hub. And there, when you arrive on site, what it looks like is there's a big pile of compost there. There's a resource station that provides the directions on how you pick up the compost. You can also see, an actual farming operation on site. You can see those their on-site composting operation. When people show up, there's a survey that they fill out. And so during the pilot period from March 2022 through about November, December 2022, the urban farms really did most of the promotion themselves. We had over 200 participants visit the farm site, and they took home about 130 cubic yards of compost. The urban farms used an additional 40 cubic yards of compost for their on-site operations. And so we really thought that this was a pretty great turnout for the pilot project. Eva Stevens, who's our liaison with the Maker Farm, she had shared that the Compost Hub was one of the best offerings that they offered residents. And so we really wanted to make sure that we can encourage more and more people to visit their sites, because urban farms, since they really depend on an activated network of volunteers, the more residents that we can invite to their sites, the more likely that they're going to find additional volunteers and people to engage with their other services. I also want to just really appreciate Angela Vincent and Mark Green from the city of Alameda in supporting this pilot and helping be guinea pigs with this project. I also want to mention, going back to the Alameda Hub, they also provided a composting workshop on their site. And so we really want to see these compost hubs develop out to be educational resources for residents. So to date, we have 3 compost hubs across the county that have been established through signed MOUs. That would be the city of Alameda, Albany, and Livermore. There's an additional compost hub with the city of Piedmont that they opened independently, so a ton of credit goes to them for doing that. 6 more hubs are currently in development with the county, with city of Fremont, Hayward, Pleasanton, Oakland, and Union City. We're really excited to share more about those as they are opened. Oh, I also want to shout out, the city of Berkeley's not on this list, but I want to give them so much credit. The compost giveaway program that they offer at the marina was a huge inspiration for this model. So just tons of credit to the city of Berkeley for that. I don't have a ton of time to really give SWEET its due, but SWEET is as I mentioned, it's a peer-to-peer training that Stop Waste facilitates. And we intentionally invited over 15 urban farmers to be a part of SWEET, where we did a really deep dive into composting to support their on-site composting systems. And it was really an opportunity for them to engage their ability to be compost educators. And if compost hubs are opening adjacent, or at these urban farm sites, really supporting these urban farms to be compost educators was a part of our goal of having SWEET happen at the same time as we roll out these compost hubs. And what I'll also say is that SWEET also has shown that urban farmers are really interested in developing an ongoing network where they're communicating together, they're collaborating, they're sharing partnership opportunities. And so we're really excited to continue using SWEET as a vehicle to help urban farmers organize together and kind of share resources as these compost hubs become available to residents. So what questions are we asking as we go forward? We just want to be able to contrast, how do these compost hubs, how do they contrast or compare with the current compost giveaway programs that cities are doing? How can we develop compost hubs out as an educational resource for residents? Can compost hubs help drive additional resources to urban farms? These are community organizations who always need more resources to do the work that they're doing. And then are there other opportunities or examples where jurisdictions can collaborate with community organizations to achieve mutual goals that both the community and that cities are trying to meet? And here are some examples of things that you can do. If you're a jurisdiction in Alameda County and you want to start a compost hub, please come talk to me. Community organizations can always advocate for their local jurisdictions to engage residents and engage community groups more often at a deeper level rather than just informing, which can sometimes lead to marginalization. So collaboration is where it's at. And then residents, find your local compost hub and pick up free compost. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trevor. I love it. Getting rid of that compost. Collecting compost. Okay, I think we can take 2 questions. Any questions online? Okay. Anyone who has not asked a question today who would like to ask a question? Have you asked a question? Okay, up here in the front. Sorry, careful, Zinzi.
Hello. I was just curious, how did you determine which urban farms to partner with, both for the pilot and for the expansion?
Sure, that's a really good question. It was really, we based it on, well, first of all, we've worked with over 27 different farms and community gardens over the last 5 years. And so we offered this opportunity to try out compost hubs to a wide array of them. And so it was really just a matter of who picked up on the idea and wanted to try it out with us. And so those 2 farms in the city of Alameda kind of started the process, with other farms gaining traction and excitement as they saw that pilot roll out.
You got a question right here?
Hi, just a question about the compost itself. Do the farms have to, as they produce the compost, meet like the process to further reduce pathogens or do any testing? If yes, or if not, why not? Or if yes, like how do you work with them on that?
Yeah, the answer is yes, of course. The compost that's being procured by the cities, they're buying it from vendors, or it's they already have an arrangement and they're with a compost producer or vendor where they can get free compost that they can then distribute to residents. And so all that compost has absolutely met the pathogens reductions process. We're also encouraging urban farms and cities to really work together to choose a compost product. Urban farms especially want to make sure that they have a really high quality compost that they're applying to their on-site operations. And of course, they want to offer high quality compost to residents as well. So a lot of the partnerships between farms and cities are having that dialogue of kind of picking a compost. And we've been playing a role in, we gather compost data sheets, and we help urban farms and cities translate what those data sheets mean. And then we take a look at the compost, look at samples, so that it's really all about the farms feeling like they're empowered to make the decision about what compost they're offering at their hub.
All right. Thank you, Trevor. You'll be around for more questions? Yeah, okay.